What if burnout isn't stealing your productivity? What if it's stealing your ability to enjoy your life? Because if your success is costing you your nervous system, it's not success at all. It's survival. When you're building life from chronic activation, you can hit milestones and still feel exhausted. You can win and still feel tense. You can have everything working and still feel like you're not okay inside of your body. And it usually shows up in a few quiet ways. The first way is the just tired illusion. Waking up already depleted, running on caffeine, and crashing even when you're doing everything right. Then, the tightening grip of frustration, where small requests feel like demands, your patience disappears, and guilt follows right after that. And over time, the fading spectrum of emotion begins to appear, where life looks successful but feels strangely flat, like your system dimmed the colors just to keep you functioning. If you've reached milestones and hit big goals but still feel empty, this video is for you. Today, we're talking about what burnout really is taking from you long before you collapse. Many high achieving, successful women don't realize their nervous system is still operating in survival mode, which is why success can look good on the outside while feeling exhausting inside of your body. So, sis, stay with me, because if you don't understand this, you'll keep doing what high achievers do, pushing harder, achieving more, and wondering why still doesn't feel good inside your body and why you're still not happy with your life. In this video, I'm going to show you what survival-based success is really costing you, the hidden ways it steals your energy, your patience, and even your ability to feel joy long before you collapse. And by the end, you'll be able to spot your pattern in real time, whether it shows up as just the tired illusion or the tightening grip of frustration, emotional numbness, or that quiet resentment you judge yourself for. And you'll know the first step to start shifting out of survival so that success can finally feel as good as it looks. Many high achieving women learn very early on in life how to function inside of pressure. Maybe you had to be the responsible one growing up. Maybe people depended on you emotionally. Maybe achievement became a way to get loving attention or feel secure. So your nervous system adapted. You became someone who handles everything, someone who carries responsibility well, someone who can keep going even when things feel difficult. And in many ways, that ability helps you build the life you have today. You developed discipline, work ethic, resilience, and the ability to push through challenges. Those qualities are all powerful. But when those same qualities are powered by survival energy instead of regulation, something subtle begins happening inside the body. Your nervous system never fully exits threat mode. You become extremely capable, but you also become chronically activated. Your body learns to operate on urgency, pressure, and constant alertness. And over time, that pattern begins shaping how you experience your own life. The first cost of survival-based success is chronic fatigue. Not just being tired after a long day, but a deeper kind of exhaustion. The kind where you wake up in the morning already feeling drained. Imagine someone who gets 7 or 8 hours of sleep, but still wakes up feeling like their body hasn't fully recovered. They drag themselves through the morning. Coffee becomes a requirement rather than a choice. By mid-afternoon, their energy crashes again. Many people assume this is simply a workload problem, but often it's a nervous system problem. When your body stays in prolonged stress, it uses enormous energy maintaining that alertness, even when you're technically resting. Over time, that internal activation slowly drains the body's reserves. The second cost shows up emotionally: irritability. Not because you're an angry person, but because your nervous system is stretched thin. Small things start bothering you more than they used to. A minor inconvenience feels disproportionately frustrating. Someone needing one more thing from you can suddenly feel overwhelming. Imagine coming home after a long day of work, You've been solving problems, answering questions, holding everything together all day. You walk through the door hoping for just a moment to breathe, and immediately your kids start calling for you. Mom, can you help me get something? Mom, I'm hungry. Mom, look at this. None of those things are wrong. They're normal. They're small. But your body reacts instantly. Your shoulders tighten. Your patience feels thinner than you want it to. And almost immediately, the guilt shows up. You think to yourself, why am I reacting like this? They're just being kids. But your reaction isn't really about that moment. It's about the accumulated pressure your nervous system has been carrying all day. The third cost many high achieving women experience is emotional numbness. This one can feel confusing because it doesn't always look like distress. Sometimes it feels like flatness. Things that once felt exciting don't feel as vivid. That should feel joyful feel muted. You're still functioning and showing up, but there's a quiet sense that you're not fully present inside your life. Imagine arriving somewhere beautiful on a vacation you were excited about for months, but instead of feeling relaxed and joyful, you feel disconnected. You're physically there, but your nervous system still feels braced. Emotional numbness is often the body protecting itself when it has been under pressure for too long. Your emotions didn't disappear. Your system just temporarily muted them to conserve energy. Cost is that over time, survival based success begins to affect your ability to actually experience joy. Joy doesn't completely disappear, but it becomes harder to access. You accomplish something meaningful, a goal you worked toward, a milestone you once hoped for, and instead of fully feeling it, your mind immediately shifts to the next responsibility. What's next? What still needs to be done? You finish one goal, and your attention immediately moves straight to the next one. Your nervous system stays focused on what's coming next instead of allowing you to be present in what just happened. And this is one of the quiet tragedies of survival based success. You achieve the things you dreamed about, but your body is still so used to operating under pressure that it struggles to actually feel the moment. The fifth and final cost often appears in ways that are harder to admit. Hidden resentment. When someone has carried responsibility for a long time, quiet frustration can build beneath the surface. Not because you don't care about people, but because your nervous system has been giving more than it has been receiving. You might notice irritation when someone asks for help, even if you love them. But resentment isn't a character flaw. Often it's a signal your nervous system has been stretched beyond what it can sustainably hold. This is the realization that changes how many women finally understand burnout. When success is built inside survival mode, the cost doesn't show up all at once. It builds slowly. Your fatigue starts creeping higher. Your patience starts getting thinner. Joy becomes harder to access. Resentment begins building quietly under the surface. And your body starts sending signals that something about the way you've been carrying life isn't sustainable. But it doesn't just affect how stressed you feel. It affects what you're actually able to receive. Because when your nervous system is stuck in survival mode, ease starts to feel unfamiliar. So even the things you've worked for, success, support, opportunity, peace, can become harder to access, harder to hold, and harder to truly enjoy. But this doesn't mean you did anything wrong. Your nervous system adapted to pressure because it had to. The traits that helped you succeed were real strengths. They helped you survive difficult environments, but those same patterns do not have to control the rest of your life. When your nervous system begins learning regulation instead of survival, something powerful begins to change. Your energy stabilizes, patience returns, joy becomes accessible again. Success no longer feels like something you have to endure. It becomes something you can actually experience. Because success should expand your life, not drain it. Sis, I'm curious if you've ever experienced any of these patterns in your own life. Have you ever experienced success that looked good from the outside, but inside your body you still felt exhausted and disconnected? If that resonates with you, let me know in the comments. A lot of high achieving women recognize themselves in this conversation once they start looking at success through the lens of their nervous system. If your life looks good on paper, but your nervous system still feels tense, tired, or braced, I made a free guide called From Empty Cup to Overflow. Inside, I explain what's actually happening in your nervous system. And I also share practical strategies and journal prompts to help you come out of survival mode and let success feel lighter. Grab it below. I'm on a mission this year to help 1,000 high achieving women exit survival mode and rebuild the capacity to actually feel joy again. And if you want more conversations about nervous system regulation, burnout, and building success without sacrificing your well being, make sure you subscribe. Because the truth is, success should expand your life, not cost you your peace. I'll see you next time.